Hello, guys. Welcome back to another episode of Single Over Servitude. I am your host, Jeremy, and today we got an article: "The Rise of the RP Black Male Relationship Coach." And the reason I'm going to read off this article is because it's actually written by a woman, and Ariana Jackson, and I think it's going to be quite an interesting read because I always like to get the counter perspective. Um, on certain subjects, because if you live in like an echo chamber, everyone's kind of like agreeing with you, and it can get kind of boring. But it's going to be interesting to have a female perspective on the RP movement and guys who talk about the R pill. So let's get into it. Fresh and Fit are probably perhaps the latest flash in the pan to come out of a very specific podcast subset. But they are not the problem. They are just one symptom being expressed, and there are many, many more where they come from. Fit, real name Myron Gaines, born Amrul Fuddle, and Fresh Walker Weeks, I'm sorry, Weekies, are the co-hosts of a brand that claims to help men with uh, dating, health, and financial well-being. However, their most heavily interacted with content is focused primarily on uh, disabusing women views they believe to be unacceptable. That's not them. It's on your middle and your right. Fresh middle, Fit on the right. F FD sorry guys. FD Signifier's recent video about the leftist YouTube and the Black Manosphere mentions the likes of Kevin Samuels, Fresh and Fit, roommates, and Abba and Preach. The idea being that within the Black community, we have a lack of prominent leftist speakers, and our most famous and outspoken representatives seem to be a little more than alt-right with a bit more Malian. If you've ever watched this content and felt uncomfortable, it's because it's rife with thinly veiled misogyny, parroting as self-help or accountability for modern women, a half-hearted compromise of the increasingly frowned upon females. I do see some general exceptions in the podcast verse, like Enjoy the Podcast and Waving the Red Flag, that take a more holistic, emotionally intelligent approach to men in relationships. It's a refresh. It's a refreshing aside, but hardly matches the magnitude of the growing problem. Even shows slash podcasts with female co-hosts like Eight at the Table and Cruise Season, leaning to a simplistic and antiquated look at relationships that place relationships back in the day as the paragon of success and modern women as the culprit of the modern failures. Well, what they're probably leaning in is the 1950s nuclear family. Like, husband comes home in his suit and his fedora with his briefcase, goes, "Honey, I'm home," and it goes, "Oh, hello, dear. How was your day at work?" Wonderful. And then you have like apple pie resting on the windowsill. So you're probably thinking days of like Leave It to Beaver, Dennis the Menace, back when like America was America and men were men and women were women. Now it's, I don't know, guys got like gold teeth and women have, bedroom body counts in the doubles, if not triple digits. It's like, and you have girls shaking their ass on Instagram, and then you got guys who are just like gym bros doing like, oh, you gotta rep this and do this, and I don't know, it's just everyone wants to be a star now on the Instagram and the social medias. Blue Jasmine is a woman who experienced a surge in popularity following a clip of her on Eight at the Table, stating that her ex still pays many of her bills. This activated the ire and interest of the exact group I believe lines the pockets of the Black Manosphere, frustrated Black men. From this, Blue Jasmine also made her way onto both Kevin Samuels' platforms as well as the No Jumper podcast hosted by a literal something trafficker, sharp Robert Deshaun Swanger, to be argued with. Fans absolutely devoured this content. This group of men seem to be preying on the same group of incels that many of their white alt-right counterparts do. You're not the problem, it's modern women. It's these biatches. So much of this is a dog whistle for a much more disgusting form of misogyny, parading as tell it like it is. But Fresh and Fit and Kevin Samuels' most watched videos are all overwhelmingly about putting women in their place. Now, is there a certain aspect to this that may be true? I mean, yeah, you could say, okay, these guys are heartbroken. That's why they're going on this rampage. That's acceptable. But then you can't also paint women as these innocent angels, you know. Perhaps these girls got cheated on, perhaps these girls cheated on the guys. So I mean, when you come to the argument with, I've seen a couple of their videos. So when you see their videos come with certain stats and statistics and their experience is that, you can't really argue it. You can't pretend that women are these innocent angels and everything's misogyny, you know? A lot of it's facts. Interestingly, and perhaps confusingly, many of Kevin's listeners are women themselves. Black women specifically, and while the impact of the rhetoric like this is not limited to black women, it is certainly obsessed with us. Fresh and Fit can be quoted in what is meant to be a compliment to one of their podcast guests. You're not like most black women who are ratchet and loud. Fuddle had a retired federal Fuddle, a retired federal agent, is now a self-styled pickup artist, personal trainer, boasts 300K subscribers on YouTube. I think they're up to like 540K. I think that's what they're up to now. We should be scared. The rise of this alt-right and fascist sentiments has been a danger for years and is growing even in our own backyard. This is not something that exists only on the internet. The people watching, buying, and sharing this content are real. They are your family, friends, and loved ones. And I think we should ask ourselves, what is it about this message that speaks so loudly to them, and how can we pull them away from the past that they will hold us all back? Okay. What is it about this message that speaks so loudly? The connective tissue between the two. So back in the day, my dad introduced me to the Tom Likas show on 97.1, I think it was. This was like 2004. And at first, like when I was listening to Tom Likas, I was like, this guy's a misogynistic pig. He's an a-hole. He's sexist, blah, 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 blah. And then there's one call that came in, and I remember at the time I was playing my Sega Dreamcast. This is how old this video is, or this how old this story is, I should say. Playing my Sega Dreamcast, and I stopped, and I turned, and I listened, and I looked at my boombox at the time. Wait, being put in the friend zone isn't just a me thing? Like other guys are experiencing this? And then I paused the game and I listened, and I just, because at first it was like background music or, just background noise, because I didn't want to listen to the video game soundtrack. I wanted to listen to something else. And I heard this story, and then I went from like kind of hearing it to I started listening to it. And it's like, wait, I experienced that, and this caller is calling from Florida, and I experienced that, and this caller is calling from New York, and I didn't experience it quite that, but a portion of it. And so it caught more and more of my attention. It's like, oh crap, maybe it's not just the girls I deal with. Maybe it's just there's a bunch of girls who are putting the nice guys in the friend zone. Maybe there's a bunch of girls who are ignoring us. And so I started listening more and more and more. And so this article is saying, well, what is it that speaks so loudly? It's it resonates with us when we have a shared collective experience. Oh yeah, this chick ignored me. Oh, this chick cheated on me. Oh, this chick baby trapped me. Oh, this chick blah 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 blah. She ghosted me. Yada yada yada. And so it's it's nice to know that we're not alone in our experience. That other people have quote unquote suffered at the hands of the women. That sounds a little dramatic, but you know what I mean. That we're not just alone. That it's not an us thing. That it's kind of like more of an everyone thing. And so that's why that message is resonating, because yeah, you can hear people's success stories, but I think it's more interesting to hear the struggles. Okay, I think that was it of the story, but she has a my 8 must listen to podcast. So let's take a quick peruse through these. Horrible decisions. Let's see. Friend Ford, waving the red flag, which you mentioned earlier in the article. Four Minds. Now this one I've seen cruise season. This one I've actually seen a couple clips on YouTube. I've only seen like one or two clips, but from what I saw, it was actually pretty good. The girl's like, "Oh no, guys got to finance my lifestyle." The guy's like, "Why? We have equality. Why should I have to pay for me and you? You can make as much money as me." It's like, "Well, I'm a traditional woman." Like, "Oh, really? You're a traditional woman, and you're going to be a virgin on your wedding night?" Well, no. Well, then you're not a traditional woman. Now I might be like oversimplifying that, but you get what I'm saying. Yeah, this guy on a 8 at the table. It's actually pretty entertaining to watch him just like break these women down, especially as the caption says, "What do you bring to the table?" So that I've seen a couple of his clips and it's quite good. Uh, we are man enough. I've never seen it. That's not to say that's good or bad. It's just I've never seen it. 85 South Show, never seen that. And that was basically it. So what this article basically covers is she's like, "Oh man, all these black manosphere guys are telling guys to avoid women and look at women in probably the not most positive light, and we got to stop this message." Well, have women stop acting the fool. And yes, I know some women act the fool because men cause them to go crazy. But as far as I'm concerned, it's like there's a meme. Maybe I could find it, but it was like, uh, nice was it? Bad girl screws over nice guy. Nice guy turns into a hole. A hole screws over nice girl. Nice girl turns over into a bitch. Bitch screws over nice guy. Nice girl turns into a hole, and it's just like the complete circle of crap. So interesting perspective from a lady's perspective. It's always good to see a counter argument to the to what these guys are doing. So hey, comment down in the section below. Let me know your thoughts. Are you all for this? Do you enjoy this content? Do you not care? But I don't know. Maybe if you're watching my show, you're kind of within that wheelhouse. Anyways, this is Jeremy Stone. You guys have a good day.